The COVID-19 pandemic, as of taping this video, has claimed over 3 million lives and over 160 million confirmed cases. Even right here in my country, Trinidad and Tobago, we've had over 14,000 confirmed cases and over 200 deaths. A lot of countries have therefore implemented strategies such as social distancing and lockdowns. Even right now, Trinidad and Tobago is under lockdown. Everyone reacts differently to social isolation. So I spoke to a professional, a Dr. Alina Williams, and she told me about the effects that social isolation usually has on the human body.
Social isolation in general has been found to be twice as harmful as obesity. It's been linked to decreased immune functioning. It's been linked to premature mortality. And those are just the physical effects on the body. There are, as you mentioned, the mental health effects. So it's linked to, for example, declined cognitive processing. So it puts people at risk for dementia. And then, of course, depression and anxiety. The thing about going through social isolation during this pandemic is that in addition to those effects of social isolation that would occur regardless of the social context, when you're going through social isolation and a pandemic, it sort of multiplies these risk factors. So in addition to what I would have mentioned before, people are now also battling other pressures like fear of the disease, uncertainty, financial constraints. And so what we're finding is that people that are isolated are exposed to certain elements that are very important for maintaining overall health, such as tangible or intangible support, validation, connectedness, and just having meaning and purpose in life. I mean, we know that social isolation could lead to even worse symptoms like paranoia and psychosis. We see this, for example, in people in solitary confinement.
But I wonder, how does the pandemic affect different people in society? What's the difference between the pandemic's effect between children and, let's say, the elderly?
And so, for example, the effects on children are more developmental. Children learn about themselves and the world through connections and through play, through interaction, through being with your friends outside and having to learn to share and resolve conflict. Now they're not exposed to that as much because they are in online school and they're just with their families. And in the elderly, we find that they're even more isolated. So the effects on them would be rapid decline in mental and emotional health, especially where we find elderly people who are not so technologically advanced. Those people are more at risk for these cognitive declines that could really exacerbate any previous mental health issues or lead to mental health issues. One of the first organs to be affected by isolation is the brain. So inherently, we seek relationships because it provides an important aspect of survival. And this, as you mentioned, goes back way into the early days when man probably had to be running from bears and lions and all of that. You survived if you were a member of a tribe, you know. Yeah. But also we need connections in order to have a healthy functioning body. On the nurture side, however, we are socialized to see the benefits of relationships. So for example, the term networking has been extremely popular among young people and among this generation. You know, they're always advocating for networking because, you know, the saying here, especially in Trinidad and Tobago, is not who you know, but who knows you. And there is a certain social advantage to essentially having connections, relationships, whether they are platonic or romantic, allow us to survive and thrive. So we survive in the sense that our biological needs are met, and they allow us to thrive in that they fulfill psychological and social needs. We need people, for example, to boost our self-esteem. We need people to learn about who we are, to provide a sense of belonging and purpose, to increase our emotional being, as well as to increase socioeconomic status. So relationships are really driven by the amount that gain in terms of how much it benefits us from a biological, psychological, and societal perspective.
I want to again thank Dr. Williams for imparting this knowledge to me so that I can share it with you guys, my subscribers. I think that's really important that we face head on the challenges that isolation puts on the human body, social isolation. You know, it's an interesting topic to me because I always consider myself like a loner, but these levels of extremes, this level of being by yourself for such a long period of time, the effects are totally different from anything that I have ever experienced in my life. So if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to share it with someone that you think the information will be valuable to them. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you choose, and I'll be with you again soon for the next video.